My name is Dale Boland and I am a taxidermist. Today I'm going to be demonstrating how to make decoupage material. But first I want to just say that taxidermists not only mount animals, but they have to make habitat scenes sometimes too, adding artificial plants and driftwood and things to make the base more attractive. This is a gray fox on a base. So the taxidermist starts with a base like this, and it can add Elmer's glue and dirt. Sprinkle the dirt into the Elmer's glue to give sort of a ground-like base. And then I have one here that shows what I'm going to be working on today. And what I'm going to add to this base is the illusion of water by mixing 2-part epoxy to make a decoupage material. That way a duck could be added here. This is a flying duck that could be added across here. Or you could have a fish in an underwater scene with the lily pads coming up. But you see how this brim is very shiny, glossy? This is the liquid that is added we're going to be working with today. You paint it on there and it gives the illusion of being wet. So I'm going to make this area in here wet. When I got through putting the sand, the dirt, into the Elmer's glue, I then added acrylic paints, black, to certain areas. So the black area is what we want to be water. I added this and it dried about 2 days. All the water's out. And the next step is to mix up the epoxy. That's the main part of what we're talking about today. I always use vinyl gloves or nitrile gloves because I don't want to get this decoupage material on my hands. When it dries, it's like a liquid glass. Anytime I touch the animals, I use gloves. So now today we're using clear plastic containers, cups, because we want to show the level. It's very important about the level. I'm estimating through my experience how much water is going to be needed. And this is the actual resin. It's a 50-50 mixture, 50% resin and 50% hardener. And I'm estimating that about twice that amount will be needed. The viscosity of it, or the rate at which it flows, is almost like honey. On the back side here, I'm marking with a Sharpie the level of the water level, so I can make an equal part on the other side. Now this is the hardener. It doesn't have to be perfectly measured, but just eyeball it so that it's approximately 50%. That would be ideal. I want a little more in the hardener container because when I pour it into the other container, it's going to stick to the side. So I see that they're approximately equal. So now I want to pour the hardener into the resin, and it will start a chemical process that bonds the two together. It activates the resin. Let me get the two mixed together. can feel it starting to get a little warm because it's actually a chemical process. I'm stirring this with the end of a paintbrush very slowly because I don't want to add too many bubbles to it. What's on the bottom, I'm trying to get to the top. I don't want the air to go in there. Now I'm going to let that sit just a while and get a paper towel so I can wipe that brush off. I noticed that there's more hardener at the bottom, so I've got to bring what's up to the surface and mix it very well. It has to be thoroughly, slowly mixed. So the hardener acts like a catalyst to help the chemical reaction occur faster or at a lower temperature. I feel this getting a little bit warm. The bubbles are coming up to the surface. And now I'm going to pour it into a third container so that, because I know that everything that comes out there has been mixed and cured. So everything going into the third container should be a 50-50 mixture. So I'm going to discard those containers. And now I have my good mixture that will dry like with a glass-like gloss. So here's a scene of the cypress knee. I'm going to use a duck walking out of the water here. And the first part of it I can just pour onto the black area, which is going to represent my water. I'm just going to gently push it over to the sides and very carefully put it in place with a paintbrush. Of course, I'll have to throw away this paintbrush because it will be like glass. It might be that I'll have to come in and make another layer on top of this, but it generally covers with one area, with one pouring. I'm just pushing it up so it barely makes contact. Okay, I'll turn this around. Okay, so it's trying to get up close to the wood, trying to move it up there where it looks like a natural water scene. It will take approximately 48 hours before this liquid becomes like a glass. Decoupage material is used on tabletops. It's sometimes called tabletop resin. Like in seafood restaurants, they'll take an old door from a ship or something and put this gloss on top of it. Or it's used in arts and crafts to make you glue pictures down like from a magazine, and then put the sealer on top of it with decoupage. Now I'm double checking to make sure that it's in place wherever I want it to be. Looking at it very carefully to see if it's in the right area. Just my objective is to make it look like a natural little seashore, a little mini seashore. And as gravity pulls on it, it will level out. As an extra accent, I'm going to place an artificial lily pad here. This is just a piece of paper actually, cut in the shape of a lily pad. Make it look like water. So wherever I drop it, it's going to stick. So I'm giving the illusion that the water there is deeper. A lily pad has floated over to the side, and just adds that accent of the illusion that it is a area of water in like in a swamp. Here I may add, with some more Elmer's glue, I may add some grass particles, debris from the seashore, trying to make a habitat from that environment. So now in about 48 hours I should come back, and this decoupage material will be dry, and it should have the illusion of being a little swamp scene. And so I can then add my walking duck coming out of the water, or my flying duck, and that's the way we do it. So that's the process.